There are messages not meant for every soul. Truths that move quietly through time, hidden beneath the surface of ordinary reality. They appear only when a consciousness becomes capable of perceiving them. What you are about to hear is not a story, nor simply information. It is a transmission. A message that does not reach everyone, because Earth itself is now passing through a kind of invisible threshold. A filter woven not from matter, but from frequency. As the planet shifts through waves of cosmic energy, certain knowledge is being shielded, not to hide it, but to protect those who are not yet ready to carry its weight. The universe does not reveal everything at once. It reveals only what a soul can hold without breaking its balance. If you are hearing these words right now, it is no coincidence. Something within you aligned with this signal. Across a planet of billions, your awareness has arrived at this exact moment, in front of this message. That alignment is not random. It means you have passed through the filter. Your consciousness resonated with a frequency that many will simply never notice. And once a signal like this reaches you, it does not simply inform you. It awakens something that has always been waiting inside you. A quiet recognition. A memory older than this lifetime. And that recognition is why you are here. Beyond what the human mind can measure, the universe operates through a language older than logic. It reads frequency. Every thought you hold, every emotion you carry, every intention that moves through your heart sends a signal into the fabric of reality. And that signal is constantly being received. The cosmos responds not to words, but to vibration. This is why certain encounters feel destined. Why some people enter your life at the exact moment you need them. Why certain messages appear precisely when your awareness becomes ready to understand them. Reality is not random. It is a vast field of resonance. And within this field, there exists a kind of cosmic recognition system, an intelligence that quietly reads the vibration of every soul. For most people, this system simply guides ordinary life, but for others, it awakens something deeper. A strange feeling that often begins early in life, a quiet question that follows them through the years. Why do I feel different from everyone else? The sense of walking through the world slightly out of rhythm with it, as if you are participating in this reality, yet observing it at the same time. This feeling of otherness has been misunderstood for generations, but in many spiritual traditions, it carries a specific meaning. It points to what are known as starseeds, souls who carry echoes of consciousness that did not originate solely from Earth. Fragments of memory from distant civilizations, ancient codes embedded within their awareness, not always as clear recollections, but as deep intuitive knowing. These souls often feel drawn to the stars, drawn to questions about existence, drawn to truths that most people never think to ask, because somewhere within them lies a subtle remembrance of a much larger story, the galactic lineage. And the presence here is not accidental. They arrive during moments of planetary transition, periods when human consciousness is ready to expand beyond its previous limits. Their purpose is not domination, not authority, but stabilization. They act as bridges of frequency, helping anchor new patterns of awareness into the collective field of Earth, quietly shifting the emotional, energetic atmosphere of the planet simply by remembering who they are. And as the cosmic recognition system begins activating these souls, they start finding one another across continents, across cultures, drawn together by a resonance they cannot fully explain, like stars slowly forming new constellations in the sky of human consciousness. This pattern of hidden knowledge is not new. Across history, the greatest civilizations understood that powerful truths must unfold gradually. In ancient Egypt, seekers did not simply learn sacred wisdom. They passed through initiations. Inside the temple schools, knowledge was revealed step by step, each symbol and teaching entrusted only to those who had proven the strength of their inner discipline. In Japan's esoteric traditions, the same principle existed. Wisdom was never given all at once. It was transmitted slowly from master to student through years of dedication and refinement. And long before recorded history, the legends of Atlantis speak of a civilization where knowledge was tied directly to vibration. Those who sought deeper understanding were guided through trials designed to test their clarity, humility, and emotional balance. Only when the seeker could hold the energy of the teaching without distortion was the next level revealed. This law has never disappeared. It has only changed its form. The stone temples of initiation no longer stand at the center of human life, but the initiations themselves continue. Today, the temple is not a structure. It is your life. Relationships become mirrors reflecting parts of yourself that still seek healing. Challenges arrive not as punishments, but as invitations to grow beyond old reactions. Moments that trigger anger, jealousy, fear, or doubt are not interruptions to the path. They are the path. Every emotional response becomes a doorway. Each decision reveals whether you are operating from the gravity of fear or the expansion of awareness. In this way, the ancient mystery schools have not vanished. They've simply become invisible. And every day of your life is now part of the initiation. Humanity is now approaching a rare turning point in its long cosmic journey. Ancient cultures across the world spoke of a great cycle, a celestial rhythm lasting roughly 26,000 years, often called the Great Year. For millennia, this cycle has quietly shaped the rise and fall of civilizations, guiding the evolution of human consciousness like the slow turning of a vast cosmic clock. And now, that cycle is reaching its threshold once again. In 2026, humanity stands at a rare turning point in its cosmic journey. Not a physical disaster, not an apocalyptic event, but a shift in consciousness that many ancient traditions anticipated long ago. As Earth moves through new energetic conditions, humanity is beginning to separate along a vibrational line. Not by geography, not by status, but by frequency. Two different ways of perceiving reality are beginning to diverge. One remains anchored in what is often called 3D consciousness, a state driven by fear, control, competition, and survival. In this state, life feels heavy and fragmented. People experience constant conflict, scarcity, and separation from one another. But another path is emerging simultaneously, the shift into what many describe as 5D consciousness. Here the dominant frequency changes. Fear loosens its grip. Connection replaces isolation. Compassion begins to guide decisions more than control. Unity becomes more natural than division. This divergence is sometimes called the Great Split, and it is not a punishment, and it is not a judgment. It is simply resonance. Every soul gradually gravitates toward the reality that matches its internal state, and this movement is not decided in a one dramatic moment. It happens quietly, through the choices made each day. Every thought strengthens a certain frequency, every reaction reinforces a certain reality. Choosing understanding instead of anger, choosing presence instead of fear, choosing compassion instead of judgment. These small internal shifts become the compass that determines where consciousness moves next. In this way, the path forward is not forced upon anyone, but unfolds from within. Each person slowly aligns with the version of reality that reflects the vibration he chose to embody. The shift into higher consciousness is not achieved through escape. It does not require leaving the world behind. It requires a transformation in how you move through it. There are 4 inner shifts that gradually open the doorway into 5D awareness. The first key is emotional shedding. Just as a snake must shed its old skin in order to grow, the soul must release emotional patterns that belong to an earlier stage of consciousness: fear, jealousy, resentment, anger. These emotions are not signs of failure. They are remnants of survival patterns that once protected us. But when they are carried too long, they become weight. They anchor awareness to the density of the old world. Letting them go does not weaken you. It lightens you. Each moment of forgiveness, each act of releasing old resentment, loosens another layer of that weight, and the soul begins to rise. The second key is the alchemy of the heart. Gratitude and compassion are not merely positive emotions, they are frequencies. When gratitude becomes a daily state rather than a rare reaction, something profound happens within the field of consciousness. Scarcity begins to dissolve. Opportunities appear where obstacles once stood. Compassion works in a similar way. It expands perception beyond the narrow boundaries of the ego, allowing you to see others not as adversaries, but as fellow travelers navigating their own initiations together. Gratitude and compassion recalibrate the emotional field of the heart. They align it with higher states of awareness. The third key is detachment. This does not mean rejecting the material world. The physical world is not an enemy. The problems arise when identity becomes tied to what can be owned, displayed, or controlled. When possessions define self-worth, consciousness becomes confined to a fragile structure. Detachment restores balance. It allows you to enjoy what exists in a material world without becoming imprisoned by it. You begin to understand that your value does not come from what you hold in your hands, but from the energy you carry within your presence. The fourth key is intuitive navigation. For centuries, humanity has relied almost entirely on logic. But logic alone cannot perceive the subtle currents that shape reality. There exists another form of guidance, quieter, but remarkably precise: intuition. The inner whisper that appears as sudden clarity, the feeling that something is right, or not. A gentle pull towards certain paths and away from others. This voice is not random. It is the higher self communicating through subtle awareness. When you begin trusting it, life gradually becomes less rigid, less forced. Decisions start to flow with a natural timing that logic alone could never predict. For these 4 shifts: emotional release, heart-centered frequency, detachment, and intuitive trust, consciousness slowly adjusts to a different level of reality. Not by escaping the world, but by seeing it through a clearer lens. As consciousness begins to shift, the transformation rarely announces itself as dramatic events. Instead, it reveals itself through subtle but unmistakable changes within your inner world. One of the first signs is heightened intuition. The inner voice that once felt faint becomes clearer. Decisions that once required endless overthinking begin to resolve themselves through quiet knowing. You start sensing truth beneath appearances, recognizing what aligns with your path and what does not. Alongside this awakening of intuition, synchronicities begin to appear more frequently, repeating numbers, perfectly timed encounters, information arriving exactly when you need it. These moments are not random. They are signals that your awareness is beginning to move in harmony with the deeper rhythms of reality. Another change often appears within your relationships. Connections that were once central to your life may slowly fade, not through conflict but through natural distance. At the same time, new relationships emerge, ones that feel authentic, effortless, and deeply aligned. This is resonance at work. As your frequency changes, the people around you begin to reorganize accordingly. Yet perhaps the most powerful sign of this shift is something far quieter. A growing inner stillness. Even when the world around you moves to uncertainty or chaos, something inside remains steady. A calm awareness that does not depend on circumstances. A sense that beneath the surface turbulence of life, a deeper order is always unfolding. And as this stability grows, something else becomes clear. You are not here merely to witness this transformation. Your presence itself contributes to it. Each person who embodies clarity, compassion, and awareness becomes a stabilizing point within the collective field, an anchor for the new frequency emerging on Earth.